All right. Guess who's back? It's me, Captain Coder. Had myself a little bit of decaf coffee and some chocolate cake. A little chocolate tort, not really cake. Little tiny piece of cake in there. But oh, it was good. It was good. All right. So we're here back working on our chess puzzle game. I'm gonna stop touching my face. Since I record myself, I really notice it. I really notice the face touching, and I don't think I should be doing that. All right, but we are going to press forward here. All right, so previously, last time I have this unit test that does not pass. Idea is I'm testing it. I'm trying to get it set up so I can test my pawn just moving just forward. So you have your preconditions, post conditions. That's the whole idea with unit test. Pre and post conditions. You set up your preconditions, you run it, and check your post conditions. What I realized was for my pieces, I wanted to be able to, when a piece moves, it like the board needs to update where that piece is. It needs to keep track of it. And so I'm going to actually add, I think it's called a delegate or an event, or those the same things. I'm going to look in my book here. All right, so I do have a C# book, C# Player's Guide. Highly recommend. This book is fantastic. But I want to look at, I want to do an observable pattern, and C# has these sort of built-in as events. That's what they are. C# events. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna just look at some syntax here. Make sure things are good. Actually, I have a PDF copy of the book. Maybe I'll open that up. Open up my PDF copy of the book. We can look at it together here. C#. Let's find it. C#. 5th edition. Boom, here we go. All right, so I want to look at, highly recommend this book. This book is, I think it's the best like starter C# book, intro to C# book. It covers all of the basics, and then it also gives you, yeah, this book's great for starting out learning to program, as well as people who have already programmed and switching to C#. Spent a lot of time trying to find a good book. So I teach AP Computer Science Principles, and in that class we use C#. I like C# for a number of reasons. Principles is the class that precedes Computer Science A, which is in Java. So you have to have object-oriented, and so it's sort of like you learn basic programming and you also get object-oriented, and then you go to Java. The syntax is very, very similar, but you lose out on a lot of the richness of C# gives you in Java. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Java gives you a lot of richness too. I love C#, so I ramble. I would get so much more done if I wasn't streaming this, I think, because I wouldn't ramble to myself. No one's watching. All right. Nobody's watching, so who am I talking to? All right, I want events. What in the advanced section? Oh, it is in the advanced section. Events. So the idea here, yeah, public event. Yeah, so my piece is going to have an event on change. Public action eyepiece on change. Can I do that? I think. All right. So if I did this here, it's gonna force me to add this in here. Implement interface. Why won't you implement me? There it is. So there's some unused. Okay. And so I'm reviewing this here. The idea is that when you register, so it's going to allow public. It's going to allow the game board and other things that would like to keep track of this. So later on I might have a GUI. The GUI wants to keep track of it, or my console interface. Some interface wants to keep track of this stuff and say, well, when this thing changes, it's going to give us that piece back, and then we can actually like update it. Yeah, so the action is like, this is called a delegate action IP. So there's a function, I think it's called a delegate. Anyway, this is like a function that just gives you an eyepiece back. So whenever our position changes, the idea is going to be that on change gets propagated. So let's look at how sort of tells us we should do this. There's two things. So normally your auto properties get set. I think there's a slightly different one. It's like get and add or something. Oh, and I've messed this up. It needs to be an event. It needs to be an event. Event. And a remove. All right, so remove. Add, remove. Can I put events on interfaces? It may be the case that I can't. C# event on interface. Oh, do I do this? I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to say that there's an event. And there's probably some rule on where I'm supposed to put events. I'm gonna put it after my properties, but before my methods. All right, and this should be event on change. And it's gonna tell me I have to have an add and remove. So this tells me how are things added to this event and how are things removed from this event. What does it tell me? Can I just do this? I might be. That's interesting. I need a. Hang on. This doesn't make sense because it kind of does. Kind of does. Because the idea is at anytime my position gets changed, so now I have to do these. Here I go touching my face again. I gotta stop. Private and position. Okay. So the idea is my get is now going to return my position, but my set is going to in addition to setting the position, I'm going to call onChange.invoke with myself. So I'm going to tell this event, hey, anyone who subscribed, I have changed. Right, so my state has changed, and the things that are important are, essentially my position has changed. And it may make sense to do it for is captured and has moved as well. Is captured's probably an important one to do, but I'm not 100% sure. I know for sure I need my position to do it. Must can a non-null value when exiting constructor. Consider doing it as nullable. Let me read about this a little bit more. What? In C#, events are a mechanism that allows an object to notify others that something has changed or happened so they can respond. Suppose we're making a game Asteroids. Yeah, we might do it this way. We get some fancy syntax like this. I think it's telling me that I can do this. Event is defined, and then I should be able to just say, well, I only invoke it if it's not null. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that, and then this is actually breaking my contract here. Is it breaking my contract? That's fascinating. I'm not getting yelled at. So I have a thought that I'm going to look it up. Let's go read the manual, C# events. Events. I want to read documentation. Events enable a class object to notify other class or objects when something of interest occurs. The class sends or raises the event, and the event is called the publisher, and the class that receives or handle the events are called subscribers. What I might do is have a couple different events even. So I'm thinking I probably want to know where I came from and where I went. So my event is gonna look like this. It's gonna be a pair, it's gonna be a triple. Int start, int end, and the eyepiece itself that moved. And I'm gonna actually make this on move. So the event is gonna tell me my start position, my end position, and the piece itself. Row. I bet it will like these. Row. Column. Like that. And now this becomes on move. And let's copy this signature. So the nice thing on move, we gotta save the original position before we invoke this. Start equals the original position. And then when we invoke, say start value this. So we're gonna tell whoever needs to know where we started, where we went, and also a copy of ourselves. Say like, just so you know, this is the piece that moved. Because the observer doesn't necessarily remember. They might be observing lots of different pieces, and since the game board's actually observing all of them, wants to know which one. Okay, I think this is what we want. The question is, do I really want this question mark here? And this is interesting. This is interesting and new, and I'm learning, right? So when we add the piece will be observable. When you add the piece, the board sets itself as an observer. All right, so in addition to adding the piece to the set, it's gonna register itself. So it's gonna say this dot, oops, not this, piece dot on move plus equals handle on piece move. And we're gonna add in a private method, private void on piece move, and the piece that is the signature that we stand. So we're gonna have an int row int call start, int row int call end iPiece piece. So now, I thought this would work. What is this saying? No overload for on piece move matches delegate action. Interesting. Oh, can an action have that? It can. Okay, it doesn't have to be a triple. Those can just, it can just be separated by commas. Nice. Nice, that makes me happy. So we're gonna say when this, now after we add this piece, the piece gets observed by our board. And our board basically says, okay, whenever this piece moves, we gotta update our board. Right, so whenever this piece moves, we update our board. So in this case, our board state is going to be to clear out the previous location and put the piece in this location. Okay, so we'll do board at dot remove. All right, so the first one we gotta remove it from our board start. So we're gonna delete it. What is this? Turns a bool if it was successful. Board end equals piece. So this will effectively move it into that slot. The one thing we gotta do though is we might be capturing a piece, right? So we're gonna say, before we move it, we say if board dot contains key at wherever we're going here. Hang up. Spam caller. If there is a piece where we're moving, we need to capture that piece. So then we'll do board at end dot is captured equals true. Our interface, we need to be able to, that's interesting. So my piece should take care of that. All right, so I'm gonna say that the logic for the piece, I want that to be an internal. I don't want to be able to set it outside of piece for now. we're just gonna say, okay, well, we're gonna remove where it was and put it where it is. And then that piece will no longer be on the board. All right, so on piece move, it actually will update our board for us, and we haven't had to expose a like sort of set location of the board, which is nice. Turn the sound on my phone's making all kinds of noises. Okay. Supposedly this works. This event triggers when this eyepiece position changes. So here's what's cool. Here's what's cool. When I init this, so I can actually, thought I might have to do something special, but I can actually do this dot pieces dot for. Oh, I thought I could do a for each dot values dot. Do I have to import link? No, I think link is in by default, isn't it? Using system.collections, system.link. I don't think I should have to do that. Let's try it. This dot pieces dot for each. Oh, I really thought I could do a for each. Thought there was a for each on the end of these. That must be a Unity thing or some framework I was using before. Dot well, that's too bad. All right, I'll leave it as a for each here. I thought I could be clever. I'm gonna look real quick, see if for each exists. For each extension method C#. No, for each extension for IEnumerable. There's already a for each statement included in the language that does the job. I'd hate to see the following. That's fine. So I thought I could do, for some reason, I thought I could do the following. This dot pieces dot for each init. For some reason, I thought I could do this. I'm definitely wrong. I feel like I've seen it with lists before, though. That's okay. All right, this is clear enough. This is clear enough. I don't know why I'm. All right, let's continue. So I init my board, my pawn piece test. We add it to the board. After all of our pieces, board dot init board. Forgot I gotta init my board. Still have to add the piece, which is annoying. That's okay. Okay. Makes sense, I have to register pieces on the board. The pieces control themselves. Okay. Made that private. Did I get all of this? Okay, so my pawn piece doesn't have init yet. Okay, so init is the following. This dot position equals dot start position. I also am going to get, let's see here. This dot is captured equals false. This dot has moved equals false. Okay. Turn true. This bool might not be necessary here to have. Yeah, I don't think that bool is necessary, so I'll probably update that. Try move. Yeah, so try move. Attempts to move this piece of the specified, and if the piece is able to move, returns true, otherwise returns false. All right. Get possible moves. This is interesting. There's a lot of thoughts I'm having with thinking my interface might not be the best. Let's get possible moves. Right now, I'm just gonna say, look at the board. If there's a spot in front of you, you can go there. All right, so we'll start out with a list. Moves. Why does it autocomplete that way? It's a bad autocomplete. Return moves. All right, and so we're gonna say if there's a space directly in front of us. Oh, this is interesting. Which direction is forward for a pawn, right? So I guess if your color, yeah, so the direction you're moving, it's based on whether or not your piece is black or white. So int movedir is gonna be equal to this dot color, this dot, we'll say that white starts at the bottom of the board. White. So if you're white, you subtract -1, otherwise you increase. Okay. So white pieces move up, black pieces move down. In my tests, I have to say what color we are. All right, so I have to add that to my constructor. Color, or I'll do white. Piece color dot white. And in our game board, not game board, in our pawn piece, our constructor needs to take in a color. Piece color. This dot color equals color. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna check to see if there's a piece in that spot. So int target is equal to this dot position. This is our row plus movedir, and then this dot position dot column, position dot row, oh, hang on, position row column. Okay. And then we're gonna say if inbound, so we're gonna make sure it's if it's on the board. Yeah, so I have to check if it's inbound. So a little helper method might be nice on this. Yeah, try move. I'm looking at the wrong thing I was trying to find here. So I can get this side so I know my rows and my columns, but I don't want to have to write out all the checks a bunch. So I'm just going to say is it on board. So public bool is inbound int position. Checks if the given position is within the is a position on this board. Turns. I don't think I need much more than that. Row, column. So this makes it easier to write the check I want, and then it makes the implementation super easy. Why can't this autocomplete work? Why is it doing that? I messed something up. Implement remaining. Okay. Is in bounds is going to be can interfaces can have default, but let's keep going here. Is in bounds. I don't need this here. This is based off row. This is why I'm always torn. Position.row greater than or equal to 0, and position.call greater than or equal to 0, and position.row less than this dot size dot rows, and position.call less than this dot size dot calls. So simple, just check that it's in bounds like so, and I don't want to have to write this in multiple places. So like this is pretty straightforward logic. Is in bounds makes it a little bit easier. I don't know why it's private. Probably because I typed private there. Public. Here's a thought. Can interfaces in C# have default? Doesn't look like it. Sorry, that was the wrong thing anyway. You can. Interfaces can have defaults. I like that. So I don't have to put this here. Beautiful. Because it's based on other properties. Nothing else can be defaulted. What about in peace? I don't think anything else can be defaulted here either. No. Okay, just wanted to check. It's like that's just more of a helper than anything. All right, so pawn piece. We're gonna say if this dot board dot is in bounds target. So if it's on the board, well, we're gonna say if it's not on the board, turn false. So you can't. Oh, hang on. Not return false. Sorry, we're building up a list. We're not saying whether or not this move is possible. So if the target's in bounds, and so if the target's inbound and there's is no piece there, so this dot board dot is empty target moves dot add target. Okay, so that's the one piece, that one place that we can move so far. Yeah. Does my test pass now? So I wrote my test move isn't done yet. And I have like this sort of dumb try move right now. Which is, and so this could actually be part of, let's say, if get possible moves dot contains target. So if it's in there, otherwise return false. This dot position equals target. So if it's one of the possible moves, we update our position, otherwise we return false. Yeah. So we could do some cleverness with get possible moves. To sort of like not have to run this multiple times, but we're okay for now. And so this is logic that should work for all pieces. All right, so I'm gonna put it in eyepiece. Try move. It won't work because I don't want to be able to set it outside. Yeah. Let's go back to pawn piece. We'll make an abstract piece and we'll make this part of it. But for now, this is good. Did I do enough to make my test pass? I still fail. Specifically, assert single moves. It was empty. All right, so pawn.get possible moves was empty. Not sure why. Let's try and set up some breakpoint. See what happens. That's fascinating to me. Put a breakpoint in my pawn piece. Under, put it here and get possible moves. Run. Start debugging. Oh, that's not what I want. There's no main. Is it running my test? Yeah, there was no. My program is actually like does nothing. Instead, I want to go to my test and debug test. Right, let this bad boy pop up. We're paused here. Let's look at my board. Size 4-4. It should have a dictionary. The single piece 3-2. The piece I want. Okay. Let's step over. Step over. Step over. So my target is 2, 2, which I think is yeah. So it's the piece. It's right in front of this one. So my white piece, I'm moving towards the top. This should be true, but it's about to be false. Do I need to stop my program to add a breakpoint to my board game? So it is in bounds, or if this is in bounds and it is empty. So game board, can I just add it dynamically here? And is in bounds is defined in my interface. So one of these is returning false. So let's step over. Step over. I didn't store it in a variable, so I'm actually not sure, but I'm pretty sure step over. Did it tell me what the return was? This is going to be false, right? Yeah, so this is false, so I don't execute that. Let's stop this. Let's pull each one of these out individually. Bool is in bounds. Bool is empty. Just so I can see which one of these is failing, so I know where to look. Alright, let's run that again. Close others. Eyepiece. Let's not eyepiece. I want game board. my game board. Okay. Go back to our test. Let's try that again. Debug test. So let's step over. Step over. Over is in bounds should be true. Okay, so is in bounds is true. So is empty at target is returning false. Okay, is empty is something's wrong there. Let's look up this implementation. I'm gonna go to the implementation. Let's go to game, stop my test. Game board. Is empty. Ah. If it does not contain the key, it's empty. There it is. All right, let's try that test again. Run test. And this one actually should be able to do it here. Test still fails. All right, but it got further. It got further. All right. Yeah, it got further in there. Got a user. There we go. Try move 2-2. All right, so let's think about it. False, false, false. Try move 2-2. That's where we're trying to move. Should return true, and it didn't. And let's see if we can figure out why. So try move. In my test right here, I'm gonna add a breakpoint. Debug test. And let's step into try move. Okay. Oh, and then return true. Because I always return false, that's why it fails. All right. Run test. And we're gonna fail. I just realized we're gonna fail, I'm pretty sure. Oh, my tests are running down here. Let me come over here, run it here. Nice little interface. Be cool if these were attached. All right. Yeah, so it fails because I never set has moved to true. So in here, if we can move to the position change, this dot has moved equals true. This dot, that's it, that's it. I'm gonna say captured. So there's one thing we gotta do. Is we should actually, let's run it. Do we pass? Hey, there's our test passing. Look how happy we are. We have the logic for moving the piece slowly across the board here. Yeah, pretty cool. Our logic here makes sense. Our piece can move across the board. One thing that we might want to check here is like, is the board actually having that state working? But the pawn, so this is a unit test. We're testing that the pawn works the way we think it should. What if we reset the pawn? Yeah, so we should be able to do a reset. Test can move forward. I'm pretty happy with that test there. Let's add another one. This one is gonna be test reset. Is that what I called the method? Test init. Test init. So this is going to test that the pawn will go back to its starting position. All right. So we initialize it here. We're going to move it several spaces. So I don't need to, in this case, we're not testing move. Instead, we're just testing, we're gonna do pawn.try move to 2. It takes in a position. Maybe I should overload that. Yeah, let's do that. Here I am complaining, sometimes I want it this way, but I never know for sure. Here we go. Public bool try move int row int call. We have defaults now, try move row call. So you have your choice. You can pass in a pair, or you can pass in one. And what we can do, C ref equals try move. Is that right? Something like that. What happens if I C ref? It's a little annoying. Would like it to. What if I do summary? How about that? Sumari. Mref? Here, let's do another. We're learning a little bit about C#. C# documentation C method. C. How does C work? C ref member C. So it should be C ref. That's too bad. Oh, I have to put link text. Okay. Supposed to put a link here. C, try move. What's interesting is I have try move. I don't know if that's the correct way to do it or not. Do this. It's essentially this. It'd be nice to not have to write that twice. All right, but now we have this nicety. And we can do try move 2, 2. So now we don't have to wrap it that way. All right, so you try move 2, 2. I'm in testing it. All right. All right, we'll move it a couple spots. And then we will do pawn.init and pawn dot, and then we assert. Now we're gonna assert and equals for that, and then our trues. Essentially, we want this one. Assert that we're in 3, 2, and this is false. Run test. Gotta get used to refresh here. All right, they both pass. I'm relatively happy with that. All right, so this is getting up to a start. Obviously, the pawn can do more things, but now we know that the pawn can move forward if there's no piece there. So we should make this test a little bit more robust. I'm gonna do a commit first. I like to use the command line. Several of these open, get status. What all did I really change? What seems to be suggesting I changed a lot of things. Chore and get ignore to ignore .vs code folder. Game board. Oh, game board. It's an overwritten method, so I don't need to comment it. Added that there. Took out some white space. Added some methods. Implement some methods. Add some test. Okay. Get status, get add, get commit, m, feet, add a bit, pawn piece can move forward. All right, we added the pawn piece being able to move forward, and plenty more to do. We got a pawn piece can move forward. I should so there's like several things to check. If it's a black piece, can it move down? We'll add in some more tests next time. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop for now. Got 8 minutes in the hour left, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. If you watched, thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.